Hi Bob, this is Ken here. I just thought I would put together a quick tutorial for you as I update the Salt Church page on your website. This is the only one that I didn't get to yesterday, so it hasn't been converted over to a Divi page. It's obviously a very simple page. There's a little bit of text there down below there, but there are a couple of issues on it. First of all, if I click on the page itself, I click on the image itself, then it goes nowhere useful, and there's obviously an issue here. Also, the URL, the domain name is out of date. So let me show you what I would do to correct this. It's such a simple page that I wouldn't bother using any predefined layout. So let me just show you what I do. So I'm on the page and I'm logged in as an administrator. So I'm going to click Enable Visual Builder because I do want to convert it into the Divi format. So what happens when we go into the Visual Builder is that we get these three option panels. I'm just going to use existing content without any layouts attached. But if I wanted to use a layout, I would go and choose the pre-made layout, and that would let me just show you it actually. That would give me a whole range, 263 different layout packs, and far more pages. It's almost 2,000 total layouts because each pack contains a set of predefined pages or predefined templates for pages given within the given style that you've chosen. The one that I've chosen is church, as you know, so that's just how I would look that up. You see, I've got a set of pages for the church layouts. They're all consistent in style, but slightly different for slightly different purposes. So I'm not going to use that, but that's just to let you see what you could do. So let me close that out from there. The other way to access these layouts, by the way, is to load from library. But in fact, it's already converted to a Divi page, so I don't need to worry about it. But I will just open that screen again and show that you've got saved layouts and existing pages. So for example, if you wanted to use one of your existing pages as a template for a new page, this is where you would go. So you could open the load from library option, which is this plus button down here at the left of these controls, and you would then just choose the page that you want to use as your template. So as I said, I'm not going to do that, so we'll close that down again. So we've got our original page with the content that was already there, and no other assumptions about layout apart from header and footer. Hope you can see that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this image, I'm going to use a module there which is going to be part of a header module, and it's going to be what they call a full width header. So let me show you that, and then we can add the text in fact we can maintain the text in what has become a text module within this section. So let me in fact, let me go to the wire view because it's a little bit easier to see what you're doing. I actually want to add a completely new section here. So you can see if I hover over one of these, it tells me what it is, and I can add the appropriate level of the structure that I want. So I want a completely new section. And that gives me a choice of a regular section or a full width header section. That's or there's some speciality which you can experiment with in due course. Or I could bring it in from the library, a predefined section, but that's not what we're going to do here. So I'm just going to go for a full width header. Full width image or a full width header. In fact, let's just go for full width image. Keep it as simple as possible. So I'm going to add the image. I'm going to add it from the media library, but you can see if I didn't already have the image in the media library, I could go to upload files, or indeed we could insert an image from an external URL. Wouldn't normally recommend that for images, but you can bring in a video from YouTube there, for example. Anyway, let's see if I can see the there Yeah, there we go, Salt Church Marmanor. There we go, that's the one we want, I think. So if we select this, click on this to select it, you can see the details over here. It's actually far too big, but we won't worry about that right now because the system can resize it for us. Or we can choose a more convenient size. I'm just going to, you can go with the remember the larger file size, the longer it takes to load and slows down the overall page load. So it's worthwhile just choosing something that's probably sensible. Now, I happen to know, this is something you would probably want to look up, but the recommended size for a full width page is actually, I think 1920. So like the full HD size. So I would be fully justified in this stage in choosing that version of it. And one of our optimization tools from our built into our hosting platform will actually help optimize that. So that's what I'm going to run with this time. Do I want it to link somewhere? Yes, I do. I want it to link. So if somebody does in fact click this, I want it to go through to the church site. So let me just open that up, put in that. I'm going to change this to HTTPS. And then simply type, what is it? Marmanor Church, isn't it? Marmanor Church.com. Did I get that right? I think I did. So we can now say update that image. So it just gives us a bit of a preview here. So this is what it looks like with the image as a full width header. It's obviously not quite full width because we have the vertical menu here, but otherwise it's a full width header in the normal sense of the word. Now, the other thing I'm going to suggest to do is replace this tap or click the image to go to the main church, Salt Church Marmanor website. Replace that with a button, and let me show you how to do that. So again, we're going to go into the Visual Builder, and we'll see that the button is one of the available modules that we can choose. So let's just go here for a moment. I want to add a module, which should be B for button. There it is. So we're going to put in what do we want to say on the button. This is the text area for the button. We're going to say go to Salt Church Marmanor website. How's that? It can be as long or as short as you like. We need to put a link in here, and the link would be HTTPS. Just what you expect. So it's Marmanor Church, isn't it? marmanorchurch.com. Don't want it to open in the same window. I want to open it in a new window so that we don't lose the page of our own website. So let's say in a new tab. There we go. For the time being, I'm going to ignore design and advanced. So we'll just tick that. Now, I didn't show you this before, but you can just drag these around wherever you want them. So if I wanted that button to be above the text and effectively replace the sentence that we were looking at a moment ago, I can just do that. And if I click on the preview, there's our button. Now, I might want to go back into the design area and change the background color and set up the button so that the wording's in the middle of it, etc., etc. Not going to bore you with that at the moment, but that just shows you the basics of getting a button in place. And what we would then do is go back in here, or in fact click on this line directly, but I quite like going back into the bigger screen version and just take that out. And then tick the green box again. We can save down here at the bottom right if our list of controls is open, otherwise that save button vanishes. So if you want to use that, you can just open and close that, and then you can save regularly as you're going. But if you're finished, you can go to Exit Visual Builder, which takes us to here, and if we click the button, that takes us to where we want to go, to the Marminor Church website. So let's just go back for a moment to the hub website and see if we can make this button a little bit more obviously a button. So back into the Visual Builder, and what I'm going to do is open the cog here for the button and go into the Design tab in this case. So first of all, alignment, and that's easy. Let's center it. I'll just have a look. There it is. It's centered, as you can see. Okay. Now, do we want to change anything here? Well, you can change anything here that you like in terms of wording, but I want to work down the design side. So let's see if we can do something about the button background. So we'll use custom styles. At the moment, we're just using standard styles. So let's just close this, and maybe we can see a little bit more about what we're doing. Button size. Text color, I'm not too concerned about yet, but let's change the background to what? Just a solid. No, let's do a graduated background. Again, we could be a little bit bigger here, I suppose. So actually, let's, for the sake of it, just change that blue to a green, perhaps, at the top here. And to do that, I want to click on the dot at each end. So first of all, the blue dot. Let's change that to an orange color. There we go. There's orange. And let's have a look and see how that appears. Not very nice. So let's go back and do that again. So again, we'll select the gradient. Let's make this a different shade of orange, perhaps. Might be slightly better. So what we can do is just drag that color there around. You can see it changing here, and that might be a little bit more buttony. Anyway, that'll do. You can play with this forever, but that'll do fine. But now we do need to change the color of the text. So let's just go back into the design area, go to text. We could go from dark to light, so no particular colors there, or we could scroll down and be much more precise with the font color choice. We can do other things like adjust the spacing and give the box a shadow. Why don't we do that? See what happens. I quite like a simpler one. And you see that's just introduced a little bit of a 3D effect from the bottom in particular. Let's go back to the button and have a look at borders. And can we, instead of having sharp corners, can we give it a curve? So there's border width. I'm looking for border radius. There we go. So let's just increase that so it's a bit more obvious, maybe to around about. There we go. So you can see the corners are now bending, and it could be, almost completely curved, or it could just be a curve on the corners as you wish. So let's leave it about 12. It's fairly subtle, but just adds a little bit more style. We can see now that we've got a white border around here, or at least a light coloured border, and we could go and customize that as well. But that now looks like a button, and we don't need to say to people, click this, because folks are well trained at recognizing a button and knowing what to do with it. Once we're done, again, we can either go here and save, continue editing, or we can just exit the Visual Builder, and often we'll come back and just double check that we do want to save that before leaving. In a position that is in the middle and quite obvious. And if we click the image, we go to the church. We click the button, we go to church. And finally, if we click on this text here, we'll also go to the church. So anywhere a visitor clicks, they'll go to the other website.